Hey Anthony, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. Before I start, I wanted to just check, are you already in Jacksonville or have you not arrived yet?
No, I don't get there till Monday.
Okay, I wasn't sure. I know this is a weird kind of fight week, so I wasn't sure how they're sending you guys over. So that means you haven't had the dreaded COVID test yet, have you?
No, I haven't. I can't wait because it looks like it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I was gonna say, have you been watching all those videos everyone's posting?
Yeah, it doesn't look too fun.
Yeah, so it's funny because as somebody who obviously I don't fight for a living, obviously. And I see, people who I believe are some of the toughest people I know, and they're kind of cringing at these tests. So I'm curious is that something you're nervous about?
No, not too bad. I was on the phone with DC the other day, and he so he could watch
Uh-huh.
and see how bad I cringe. And I told DC that I've been blocking punches with my face for a really long time. It won't be the worst thing that's ever happened to my nose.
That's awesome. Well, I mean, I've heard from a few people it doesn't hurt, it just feels uncomfortable. So I don't know. I hope I don't ever have to take one.
Yeah, no, are you in Jacksonville?
No, 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 no. I'm in Southern California. I wasn't going to risk flying and all that. So
Yeah, no kidding.
yeah. So on that note, what about, I mean, obviously this is your job, so it's a little different. But what kind of made you decide to accept the fight like this in this time? And, can you kind of talk me through the decision process?
Um, well, I don't know. It wasn't really a decision. I mean, yeah, I think it's just who I am.
Mm-hmm.
I just do it. I just show up when they need me to.
Right.
I think it'd be really silly for me to continue to carry the name Lionheart. Uh, and when more adversity comes up, I just shy away from it. That's not really my thing. I've kind of always been the idiot that runs into problems. And I don't see right now to be any time to change.
Right.
And I feel like, and I don't want this to sound like I'm one of these idiots on Twitter that are like, getting all political about it, but like at the end of the day, like if the UFC, they've put out their safety protocol pretty openly at this point,
Mm.
and everybody's tested, and it's kind of it's a closed area. The hotels being, I got people that are there already. They're saying that they're removing people that don't have the correct credentials, that aren't tested, et cetera, et cetera. Like, am I really any more dangerous there fighting than I would be in, name your random place in the rest of the world, whether it's a grocery store or any of the other, kind of essential places you probably have to go,
Mm-hmm.
throughout the week. Like, am I really in any more danger there than I'm not saying that there's absolutely no risk, but I don't think that the risk is any higher fighting than it would be if you were, anywhere else and had to go into Walgreens or something.
Right. Another fighter, I believe it was Alexei Olenek, had said that he was kind of in the position where financially he kind of felt like he had to take the fight, that he had planned for this fight, and budget wise it just wasn't smart for him to say no. Was the money at all a factor in saying yes or no? Did the fact that
No,
okay.
not really. I mean, no one wants to lose money. You know
Right.
what I mean? It doesn't matter how much you have, you don't want to lose it. Um, and I was already deep into a training camp, like when all this happened, like training camps are expensive and it depends on where you live. Like, if you live in Florida and you're right by ATT, like you probably don't accrue a whole lot of training camp costs. But, I live in Nebraska, I train in Kansas City, I train in Colorado, I have to bring in training partners that are similar to my opponents, so like I'm already 20 grand deep,
Mm-hmm.
in this training camp. So like obviously I don't want to leave that to be for nothing. But like my decisions are totally based on like I feel safe. I feel like they've done everything possible to keep us as safe as possible. And I think at this point in time in the world, that's really all you can ask for.
Right. And speaking of your training camps, it sounds like you said you were kind of already in the thick of it. So did the COVID shutdown affect the training at all, or do you feel like kind of you had what you were going to have anyways?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely had to switch lanes a little bit. Like I did the first 3 weeks in Kansas City. I did the following 3 weeks in Denver, and that's about the time that things started shutting down. That's kind of when everything really hit. The world kind of shut down. So I've always kept my gym here in Omaha. I've had the same jiu-jitsu coach since I was a white belt, something like '07. I've had the same boxing coach for, 8 or 9 years, something like that. So I always train here anyways. And then like the last 6 or 7 weeks of training camp is when I get out to Denver and do the traveling. But, so I just did it all here. Fortunately, Omaha was like in a, like we're pretty good here. Like almost 50% of our cases at the time, were all in nursing homes and assisted living facilities.
Mm-hmm.
There wasn't a whole lot of community spread. And they did shut down a lot of stuff. And so that kind of really put the brakes on anything. But I was able to keep training because we just kind of made a deal with our training partners. Like, I only need 3 or 4 like good training partners and my coaches. That's really all you use anyways. Even if you're at an ATT or Jackson's, or like you look at a John Jones training camp, you've got like the same 3 training partners you use all the time.
Right.
So, we just all made a deal. Like, don't go around a bunch of people that you typically wouldn't be around. Like if you're around your girlfriend and your wife and you work and you are around those 2 people and that's who you're going to be around anyways, like just keep it at that. And then we'll keep our training sessions small. The gym was closed to the public when we were able to keep our training camp going.
So yesterday, Dominick Cruz said that, during all of this, he realized how much time he was spending in the gym and he called it wasted time. And I'm curious if there's anything during this time that you kind of learned about yourself or your training camp that maybe you wouldn't have realized otherwise.
No, not really. I can understand what he says though, like, or what he means by that problem. Well, I'm going to go on a stretch here, but fighters tend to just hang around the gym all the time. When you're in training camp, it's like you never leave there. Because it's like your social time, and that's kind of what you do it's usually who your friends are. Everyone's kind of in the same world that you're in, so everyone understands it. I'm not really that guy anyways though, so I just kind of get in and get my work done and get out of there. So, but I also have a lot of other stuff going on, so I don't really have time just to hang around and kind of broha. But I could definitely see how that could be time consuming.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's a good way to think about it actually. And switching gears a little bit here, to talk a little bit about jiu-jitsu. Just recently, Chael was talking about how it's really hard for him to find an opponent for you. And I'm curious if there's someone that you want to compete with on the grappling kind of side of things.
Honestly, I just love competing in jiu-jitsu, and I don't know why people act like I'm some 2-headed, fire-breathing dragon. I haven't been able to compete in jiu-jitsu like at a high level for like very often. Like, I think I've won the last couple of IBJJF tournaments that I competed in. I don't even think I've competed since I've got my black belt. So, in the one time I competed in Submission Underground, I was coming off an injury. I was super out of shape, and I got caught, by a good guy. It was, he's a super, well-known guy, especially in the California area. But like, so I don't know, like I'm 0-1 in Submission Underground, so I don't know why everyone pretends like I'm this killer, but, I don't know. As far as anyone I want to compete against, for whatever reason, I would love to compete against Phil Baroni. And I know that that's probably not the correct call out, but, he trashed me one time on Twitter, after I competed in Submission Underground and, telling everyone what he was going to do to me for whatever reason, I wouldn't mind competing against Phil Baroni.
That would be exciting.
Yeah, he's the New York badass, right? Like, that'd be just a cool match to have, just to like kind of check off your bucket list. Win or lose, who cares? But like, that'd be a cool one.
Yeah, I think so too. And then, focusing more now on this fight ahead of you, do you feel like this win could get you back into title talk?
I think it gets me close for sure. I think it definitely gets me close. I would, if I had a magic ball and I could predict the future, I would guess John Jones is going to end up rematching Reyes.
Mm-hmm.
So that would leave me Thiago Santos or Jan Blachowicz. So I would imagine after I get through Glover, the next fight would have to be one of those 2 guys. And luckily they've already fought each other, so I wouldn't have to worry about those guys kind of dipping and dodging and deciding to fight each other instead. It's kind of what I ran into with the Corey Anderson issue. I was trying to fight Corey or Jan, and both of them turned me down and decided to fight each other. So that kind of left me in a weird spot, you know, like kind of out there in the cold by myself.
Right.
So, you know, I would imagine that I'd have to fight one of those two guys. You know, I'm not one of these delusional guys who thinks that, you know, I'll beat this guy and this guy and I'll immediately be back in for a title shot. I'm okay with having to earn it. And I definitely think a win over Jan or Thiago would be enough.
And then my final question for you, do you have a prediction for this fight, or are you one that kind of doesn't like to do that?
You know, if I put my analyst hat on, I'm not always so great at picking the winner. I'm better at giving options of what could possibly happen. So it depends on Glover. Like if he comes out guns blazing, you know, it's gonna suck for like 5 or 6 minutes. You know, yeah. It's not gonna be fun because he's still just as tough as he's ever been. So I would imagine though he's gonna come out a little more calculated, and look to grapple more like he has later on in his career. And if that happens, you know, as much as I like Glover, as much as I respect him and still owe him, yeah, I think it's going to be a short night for him. If he's going to go grappling heavy, it's going to be a really bad night for him. That's just my game. That's where that's kind of where I flourish is the sprawl and brawl kind of approach, and I'd imagine that's how he's going to have to approach it. I don't think that he's going to be able to stand on the outside and let me pick him apart. That's not a good look either. So I would fuck it, I'll say it. I think I'm going to submit Glover Teixeira. I do. Okay. I think I'm going to hurt him on his feet, and I think he's going to take a sloppy shot, and I think I'll catch his neck.
Awesome.
And if I believe so, I think I might be the first person to ever submit him if it goes that way.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate that prediction, and we'll find out. And I appreciate your time.
Hey, no worries. You take care of yourself.
Thank you. You too.
Stay safe.
You too. Bye-bye.